Hello, hello, hello. Hello everybody, it is me. It is Rex the dog. I am here. I am present. We are in the zone today for another stream. Welcome in everybody, welcome in. We're starting to get people to pop in, starting to get people to show their faces. So it seems as we jump into another stream here today. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Day is going good out here in Rexland. Hope things are going well for you. But yeah, today's been a little bit crazy. There's been a little bit more activity than predicted in terms of my day, but I'm here for a stream. And what we're going to do here on the stream today is we're going to do like a new thing, which we're probably going to do regularly over sort of the next few Mondays. I think we're going to make this a weekly thing, and then maybe we'll sort of expand from there. But I'm liking kind of these these like sort of regular, like different flavors and different kinds of streams that we've got going on. We've been doing the karaoke once a week, which I've been really enjoying. We've been doing like the Final Fantasy Friday. We've been dedicating more time for like art or playing games with people in chat and all these different things. And I like the idea of just having these kind of like segments and different things we do. Pepe, hello there. Hello there, nice to see you. Nice to see you there today. So, what we're gonna do here today is there's quite a few people who talk to me or at least me being in a similar sort of situation in the past where there's kind of like, questions about working out or fitness and health and that kind of thing, right? And from people who don't have access to a gym, which I've got like gym memberships and stuff at the moment. I've got access to some equipment which I have here in the house and whatever. But there's hello there, welcome. But it's really quite common for a lot of people to not have access to a gym or a very limited gym, or you might be like traveling a lot or like visiting places, whatever, and you don't have access to a lot of equipment for exercising. So what we're gonna do over the next over this sequence of streams, which we'll probably do once a week, is we're gonna be building up basically a at-home body weight exercise. At-home body weight exercise. Thank you. It is very cozy around here. We do have a little Rex on the wall here. If you haven't seen, we got a little Rex here. So we're going to be building up a body weight exercise here. So something that if you don't have any training equipment at home or you're traveling, all of that's going to be kind of taken into consideration here. And this is going to be a workout that's been created to guide you through, how to train your body a little bit, how to improve yourself from whatever position you might be in right here in your living room, like I'm in right now, or in like your bedroom, or out in the park, or wherever, in a hotel room, wherever the hell you might be, right? So basically, like, who is this for? We can kind of start with, like, who is this sort of intended for? This is like anyone with an empty space. This is like anyone with an empty space who is interested in kind of improving their fitness, getting yourself a little more in shape. What do you need to be able to do this? You need literally just yourself in an empty room. There's going to be a couple of things that could help to make yourself more comfortable. But if you've got yourself, you've got empty space, you've got whatever. Even here, I don't have like a ton of space. I got like like it's not like a ton of space, right? So we don't even need like a a huge amount of space to be able to do what we're going to tackle today. I might move this a little bit more in that direction. So we don't need a ton of space to be able to do what we're going to do here today. When should you do this? When should you do what we're gonna talk through today? What we're gonna demonstrate today? Any time of the day, anytime you choose it. This is not going to be like a time-dependent thing of like, oh, you need to do this in the morning, or you need to do this, you know, within the anabolic window of taking your freaking protein shake or whatever. It's like for wherever you want, whenever you want during the day. And where will this kind of routine take you? It will take you to a strong level of physical fitness. Yeah, so like a real nice kind of base, all based on bodyweight exercises. And why should you possibly think about maybe doing this? I think generally it's always good to kind of like, I do think you kind of like, you know, at times you kind of owe it to yourself to stop making excuses. You know, if there's something you're interested in getting, you know, better state of physical fitness, you're not already doing things already. I think the whole idea of like no gym is really no problem. I think we can do this here. What we're not gonna do is we're not gonna be doing anything related to nutrition here, related to things that like you could be eating, ways you could make tweaks to your diet or whatever. But we will possibly in the future, after we've kind of built up a base of things you can do for exercises, we possibly in the future will touch on things to do with nutrition as well. Spencer, let's freaking go. Hello. So we're not going to be touching nutrition stuff, but in the future we may move into like, you know, adding to this kind of like simplified training plan, adding in stuff about nutrition, program and progression and sort of stuff like that as well. So the routine we're going to be doing here, hello there Val, good day. The routine we're going to be doing here is very beginner friendly. So even if you've like never worked out before, you can keep up with it because it's scalable. It's open-ended, right? So like the fundamentals here might be something that you start off with, you know, very low intensity, low reps and stuff like that, and you can kind of build this thing up into something that scales with you as you kind of like, you know, gain experience to sort of, you know, gamify this. But I mean, the games are meant to be a reflection of kind of reality, you know? Right? So really, really beginner friendly and totally scalable. So we're gonna kind of talk through a bunch of things here. What we're doing today is based completely on upper body. Is based on upper body and a little bit of kind of endurance within there as well. The idea, Mike, hello there. The idea of what we're going for is we're going for a circuit. Okay, so if you look up over here, we have a sequence of different things. Okay, there is kind of like an intended number attached to them. Like we're gonna kind of go for like 50. We're gonna kind of go for like 50 jumping jacks. We're kind of gonna go for like 25 each leg of mountain climbers. Probably like 10 burpees. You know, 10 push-ups, 30-second planks, whatever. Right? But of course that can be like totally scaled, you know? If like, you know, push-ups are proving too difficult, we can be doing 5, you know, with 8 of our, you know, our knees or stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's all like totally scalable. But the end product that we're going for here is this series of exercises here. to be done as a circuit 5 times sequentially. So the idea is you do the jumping jacks, then you do the mountain climbers, then you do the burpees, then you do the push-ups, then you do the planks, the high knees, the shoulder taps, the side planks, the reverse crunches, the oblique crunches, right? And then you take a 90-second, 2-minute break, you repeat it all again. And you do that 5 times. Now, initially, you might be in a position where doing that circuit 1 time completely takes it out for you. And, okay, cool. Then that just becomes a future target of like, okay, what I'm working towards is next time I want to do the entire sequence 2 times. What I want to do in a month is I want to be able to do the entire sequence, the entire circuit 3 times. Right? So like that whole idea of like, oh, this is what we're aiming for, just because that isn't like attainable right now, doesn't mean like, oh, okay, I can't do it, I give up. Right? It's like we set up these little milestones, yeah, this like short-term, mid-term, long-term targets of what we want to achieve, and then we kind of push ourselves in that direction. So the idea is it's that full circuit 5 times. If you start being able to do that, that's great. If you can only do 1, but you're working towards doing 2, that's always great. Because the great thing is like if you are trying to get better, and if you have these goals and you have these kind of things that you're aiming for, and whatever. So the idea is it is an upper body weight circuit. You do not need gym, you do not need equipment, you do not need experience. Yeah. To be done 5 times, to be done twice a week. Twice a week is the idea. So the idea is you do this twice a week. So if you did this on Monday, you'd probably do it again on Thursday, right? So the idea is twice a week. Okay, so it's an upper body circuit. We can kind of talk through what the different exercises are going to be working on your body. And the good thing about, body weight exercises like this is you get a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak. Okay, if we go over here and we go to the weight rack, for example, and we grab ourselves a dumbbell here, and we're just doing ourselves like bicep curls or something like that. Okay? Cool. Really, really good exercise. But you know what this is? This is just exclusively a exercise for the biceps. That's all we're doing there, which is great if that's what we want to do, right? That's great if we're doing this whole, we're training a lot and we're doing like a leg day, a back day, and we've got all these different things and we're doing like a lot of isolation exercises. That's great. What that is though, is that's not like really appropriate for most people, right? That's not like getting yourself kind of like functional fitness, right? That's like going like hardcore, all in, body weight isolation exercises. All I'm doing there is training my biceps. A lot of the things that we're doing here, especially things like burpees, especially things like push-ups, they're compound exercises. And the great thing about compound exercises is they work a lot of muscles at once. You're doing something like the push-up, you've got a lot of chest in there, you've got a lot of tri in there, and you've got a lot of other muscles working in there to a lesser extent. So if you're somebody who's just like, oh hey, I just want to get like better functional fitness, I just want to get fitter, I just want to get better, doing exercises like that are really, really, really efficient. Yeah? When we get ourselves we do a lower body day, which will probably be our focus of this stream next week. Something like squats, something like as simple as like a body weight squat, and obviously you can make that more challenging or whatever if you start adding in weight and stuff like that. Whether that's actually a quote unquote weight like that dumbbell, or you're just using bottles of water or whatever, right? Something like that is a really, really powerful, really, really economically worthwhile, if you will, exercise. It's compound. You're working your quads, you're working your hammies, you're working your tris. Like there's a lot going on there. You've got a little bit of the ad and abductors. You've got there's quite a few things going on. So it's a really good exercise to be doing to, you know, not just hardcore train one thing, which is really, really good when you're focusing on that one muscle, but an entire kind of family of muscle groups. So that's kind of the idea of what we're going for here. So what we're gonna do here today is it's less gonna be like, oh, hey, like, I'm doing the whole circuit and like you could join along with me and whatever. Maybe we'll do something like that in the future. What we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be like, oh, hey, here's the different exercises if you don't know them. Here's how we can make sure we're doing them with pretty good form, right? So you can try them all sort of out at your own time. You're probably going to watch the VOD for this, service data has been kind of poopy. Okay, well, I appreciate it if the VOD is useful to you, Val. It's something that's interesting to you that you want to go back to, then like, freaking cool. Okay, because I would like to, you know, if this can be like something that is useful as a VOD that we can kind of refer to in the future, like, oh, hey, go check out that. Because I know I do get asked this kind of question quite a bit, like, oh, what things can I do? I can be like, oh, dude, check out this VOD. This is kind of introduction to what we're doing. So, let's talk through these. Let's kind of talk through sort of quantities at the to begin with. So the first thing we've got in there is we've got our jumping jacks in. So real. Am I gonna make sure I got enough space? I need to go a little bit more over here, don't I, man? Let's go a little bit more over here. Da 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 da. That feels good. Yeah, that feels good. So jumping jacks. So real simple. Real simple jumping jacks. Yep. Get yourself going. Very good as well. It's like, it basically acts as like a warm-up for this entire set that we're going through here. Basically acts as a warm-up for the entire thing. Warming up, really important. I can be kind of lazy and not do my warm-ups and that often, but really important for something to do. Get the blood flowing. Exactly, people. And welcome to the stream. So, to start off, if you're somebody who gets into, tries out this routine we're talking about today, the idea would be 50 jumping jacks. 50 jumping jacks. And I would say that number there, the other numbers we're gonna kind of be flexible with, and we'll adjust them to the level that you're at. For a jumping jack set, I'm gonna say 50, and that's non-negotiable, okay? If you do have to take a little bit of a break, you do find yourself a little bit out of breath, take that little break. Don't sit down or anything like that. Stay standing, take your little break, but I would say make it a non-negotiable that you hit 50. Okay, make it a non-negotiable that you hit 50. Next thing we've got on there, which we can lower the thing down. Now, not a requirement, but very useful to have yourself a yoga mat, a Pilates mat, something like that. It's not required, right? Because I can do this without it, which I'll show you without. But really useful for a lot of our things which we're doing kind of floor work. Useful to get. You can get a yoga mat, you can get even if a Pilates mat, if you might even already have like a camping mat or something like that. Something like that's just gonna be very useful just to make the kind of the pressure of your body parts on maybe like your hard floor or wherever you might be doing something like that a little bit less. If you don't have it, you can do it fine. Like, you will be fine. For what we're doing here, which are mountain climbers, which maybe it makes a little bit more sense for me to show it like this. Mountain climbers are basically you drop to the ground and put yourself in like a plank position, and all you're doing is bringing your legs up, bringing your knees and kind of like driving them as best you can into your chest. So you're driving them up there into your chest as best that you can. Now I've got quite a thick Pilates mat here. So although you can just do that on the hard floor like that, totally fine, totally fine to just be doing it as is. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see me here. Probably not very well at all. We're probably better at that angle, won't we? Let me move a little bit more space over here. Yeah, so driving these best you can into your chest. And something like that, again, much like we were doing with the jumping jacks, really gonna help get the blood flowing and get a nice bit of core work in there as well. Silly, hello, welcome. So I would be saying for that, go for 25 for each leg. So you're doing 1, 1, 1, and 2, and 3. Go for 25. 25 on each leg there. Okay? Now, as I said, if you're like, this stuff's like completely new to you, and you're really not in like a shape you used to be, or your shape's, you know, your fitness is dipped, don't beat yourself up, as I said. Just make note of what you can do and keep track of that. So when you go and do these exercises again, you can kind of see that general week-on-week progression that'll start to happen. Right now, you will have weeks where you dip. Like one week where it's like, oh, it's a little bit harder and I dipped. But you will see, if you're trying this stuff like properly over time, you will be having a general kind of forward progression. You will be getting yourselves in a general forward progression. And that becomes really kind of motivating. Snow Wolf, hello, hello, hello. So, 50 jumping jacks we go for, 25 for each leg mountain climbers, okay? So these are really, really good kind of like endurance-based exercises. Although what we've got here is primarily an upper body focus, things like that, kind of, they work as kind of like a warm-up. They get the blood flowing, and they are working some of your like minor muscle groups as well, which aid with just overall general stability, that aids with like both, you know, a strong upper body and a strong lower body, which is what we'll check out in the next week. Next we've got on the list here is we've got the burpees. We're looking for 10 burpees. Now burpees are very difficult. Val was saying he enjoyed burpees. I don't know if Val was being sincere. Be a little bit of a masochist if you really enjoy the burpee. So the burpee consists of, if you love them, sweet, more power to you. But for a lot of us, burpee is like a little bit of an enemy. But let's talk about the burpee here. So, burpees, again, much like a lot of these exercises here, can be kind of scaled into what we're doing. But we're gonna try and aim for doing we're gonna try and aim and do like a full burpee here. You're genuine, you love them. That's absolutely sick, man. Well, if you love burpees, try to get as many burpees in as you can. Because talking about like compound exercises before, you're working a lot in the burpee. You're working a lot of the burpee. So the burpee involves basically like two parts. It involves basically a push-up, essentially, and and almost like a jumping jack, because we've got like a jump at the end of it. So I might move this a little bit around, or move this forward, or whatever. So we're gonna be on the ground. We're gonna be doing a push-up, up to here, and then jump in the air. Right? So let me see if I can give a little bit of a better view on a push-up, maybe like a side profile over here. So we've got our hands down. We're lowering ourselves to the ground. Up we go. Legs here, up to the sky. Burpees, very, very, very good exercise to be doing. You know, if you're ever struggling with anything like that, and you're kind of getting used to it, we can do this with the burpees. and we can also do this for the push-ups, which come next, is you can always start with your knees, okay? Our ideal push-up, I'd be having my legs up, I'm lowering my body, I can't go all the way because of my head. Now push myself back up. If you're having a hard time with that, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to use your knees. Don't be afraid to use your knees, okay? If you're finding it hard to have that like core stability, because of like the level of fitness you're in at the moment, feel free to start on your knees and take the push-up like that. And keep your knees touching the ground. And keep your knees touching the ground. Maybe I'll show you guys over here. Still working out best sort of camera angles and all that sort of stuff. Don't be afraid to have your knees down here. Yep, knees touching the ground. I know it's behind chat. And like that. You can kind of see my feet up here. I've got my knees touching the ground. So don't be afraid to do that, okay? Because it's better to adjust an exercise to the current level you're at. Much better to adjust an exercise to the current level you're at than completely avoid it. Because you can start with things like that on your knees. I mean, as we go into push-ups right now, if even that's too difficult to you, there still are things you can do. Because you can be in a state where your health is like, your fitness is just like quite a low level at the moment, and it can seem really impossible to kind of like enter into an exercise routine or something like that because it's all kind of inaccessible to you. There's training that we can, crutches and kind of things that we can use to get around this stuff. Not the greatest form. Yeah, it's kind of tricky with like my space here and the head on my freaking, because I'm trying to get my whole body in and the head to the ground. So it's kind of difficult to show off kind of like, great form here because my nose touching the ground. Now when it comes to push-ups, again, we can kind of talk about a few things that can help us here. Might actually be a good idea for me to do this for a moment. So we can get kind of the freaking the giant nose at the way. So let's go terrifying ski mask man for a moment. So what we've got there is obviously we've got the kind of like push-up component to our burpee. Our idea for that would be 10. Okay? So far what we're aiming for is 50 jumping jacks. We're aiming for 25 each leg mountain climber. We're aiming for 10 burpees, which maybe we can do a little bit more comfortably. Like here. Back straight. Down we go. Boop. Up we go. Pull the leg in. Jump to the sky. 10 of those, right? After that, finish it off. Finish that off with 10 just push-ups. As we said, if you're having a hard time, if you're finding it hard to do just like a clean push-up, if you're finding that difficult, don't be afraid to get on your knees. Don't be afraid to get on your knees. Don't be afraid to get on your knees. Give yourself a little bit of an easier time. Don't be afraid to do that. Now, if that's really difficult for you, you can start off with wall push-ups. You can start with getting to a wall. This is glass. Getting yourself to a wall and doing like a push-up motion on the wall. That's not really a place you want to be in for a very long time. I do think on your knees is a, let me get a little drink over here. I do think on your knees will be something that'll be enough of a crutch if you're having difficulty with a clean push-up. I will say, yeah, wall push-ups are using counter table, exactly. So I know this is not the greatest example, but you can push up on other, I don't want to put my body weight on this, because it's gonna it's gonna freaking snap. I know it is. But you can kind of use other things as well to practice that push-up motion, because you really want to be like, and be feeling that in your chest. I will say that kind of the other crutch that you may, or difficulty you may have, the other thing that you might find challenging from push-ups is some people do have quite weak wrists. My right wrist in particular isn't the strongest because I have fell on that a few times skateboarding and a bunch of other stuff from rock climbing. So my right wrist isn't exactly the strongest in the world, okay? Something like these, although we're saying we need no equipment for any of this, but something, if you are finding push-ups particularly difficult, getting yourself little push-up grips like these, push-up handles, which they don't cost a lot of money. These are maybe cost you €5 or something like that. They're just little plastic handles. These can be something that can really protect your wrist a lot and allow you to be focusing on what you're really trying to work out there, which is predominantly your chest, with kind of some work from, a bit of the back and some tries. But something like this will allow your chest to really take over. So, we're gonna want to take this off. We're gonna want to take this off so we can kind of use it properly. Is we just chuck these down here, bang. Although I want you guys to be able to see me. We kind of chuck these down, and then we can just be focusing on the push-up. So something like this can be really, really useful. But again, not necessary. A lot of people probably don't even require them at all. So far in the circuit, we've got 50 jumping jacks, right? 25 for each leg for the mountain climbers. We've got 10 burpees. We've got 10 push-ups. That's what we're aiming for. Now, as I said, if you're not at that level yet, do 5 burpees, do 3 burpees, and keep track of that. So kind of step week by week, you can track that and you can kind of you can see where your progression is and stuff like that. You follow your wrist by folding and slamming your wrist to the tabletop. Yeah, that's brutal. That's very, 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 very mad. That's very bad. Honestly, something like that, Val, might really help you out. So there's less kind of less work going through that joint when it's kind of in action like that. Because that sounds very painful. That sounds very, very painful. Because the way I'm saying that it's really important to just kind of track this stuff here and track these numbers is what we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be doing 5 burpees, hanging around resting for ages, then doing 3 burpees, hanging around resting for ages, and then doing 2, right? And dude, it's basically summer here. We're in Spain. We're in Spain right now. What's the temperature at? Let's check the thermometer. 24.5 degrees Celsius in here, so it's hot enough. It's hot enough, 24.5 degrees Celsius. So, we're drinking water, don't worry, we're drinking water. So, if you do, for example, we're saying you do 50 jumping jacks, you do 25 mountain climbers, you do 3 burpees. If 3 burpees and you're tapping out, just move into the push-ups. Because this is meant to be done as a continuous circuit. That's the idea. And the whole idea is we do the whole circuit 5 times, but that will take some building up to get to. Being able to do this 5 times consistently. Okay? Just do the best you can and keep track of what your best was. Okay? And then you can start to see the progression happening. And progression is good. Hitting a wall is very, very good. Because hitting a wall means you're confronting with your limits of the abilities and you're reaching that level up point. Yeah? Facing that kind of adversity is very, very positive. Now you don't want to be hurting yourself. That's a different thing. You don't want to be doing stuff that damages you, but safely and sensibly hitting those walls and hitting those points of like exhaustion or whatever is very, very positive. That shows that something's happening. And that kind of like, exposure to that sort of like friction and resistance is only going to help you get better, because you're getting used to those kind of like uncomfortable scenarios, and your body physically is, but also very, very importantly, you mentally are. Because quite often when it feels like your body's saying like, no, quite often that's in your head, and you've still got maybe like 20% left in the tank or something like that, sometimes even more, depending on sort of the individual. So where we're at so far is we're talking about 50 jumping jacks, 25 reach like mountain climbers. We're aiming for 10 burpees, we're aiming for 10 push-ups. If 10 push-ups is easy, do 20. Right? We scale in both directions. If 10 push-ups is too easy, do 20. If 10 push-ups is too hard, do 10 on your knees. Right? Scale in both directions. Scale in both directions. Yeah, working to failure, Pepe, or at least very close. Once you start to learn what your failure is, honestly, getting like a few repetitions close to failure, you call it reps in reserve, how many you have left, how many push-ups do you have left in you? You can physically do 5 more push-ups, you got 5 reps in reserve, right? Once you hit that, once you got 0, you've gone to failure. If you're close enough, if you're like 3, 4, 5 reps in reserve, you've still got like a lot of magic happening and a lot of progression there. So to like absolute failure doesn't need to happen all the time, because that's also very, very, very exhausting on your nervous system. Not just exclusively those muscles you're training, but like your entire nervous system. So to repeat again, we got 50 jumping jacks, we're doing 25 mountain climbers for each leg, we're doing 10 burpees, we're doing 10 push-ups. Obviously we're scaling any of these based on where we are at the moment, and then we go into planks. Now we're going to go into a few different planks over this. But let's take this bad boy off again, because I'm not going to be able to plank properly with this massive schnoz. Like, look at the depth of that schnoz. We're not going to be able to plank properly with that on. So, plank here. 30-second hold. Again, much like I said with the jumping jacks, I'm going to say we hit 50. Like, you gotta hit 50. I would say with the plank, we've gotta hit 30 seconds. So if you have to take a couple of breaks with the planks, then take a couple of breaks. But we need to hit 30. I quite often, for planks, I just have like my phone on like timer, and I have it down here between my arms. So for a plank, it's just, again, I need to make sure I'm on camera. Bonk, bonk, and then engage the core. What you really want to be thinking about is like driving. Again, I'm not doing this too great because of the space I have available to me, but you want to be like driving your belly button kind of inwards. That's a really good way to start to like get an activation and association with your core. Is start thinking about your navel, your belly button, and kind of driving that forwards. It's not just like kind of sucking it in. You'll kind of like, over time, as your abdominal wall starts to like build up, if it's not built up already, you'll feel that you can kind of like twitch and pull in and flex and activate your core there by kind of driving inwards. But we're like that on the ground, yeah, and we're just holding that position, and that's all like primarily just like all core, all abdominal. Again, we're talking about scaling in both directions, okay? So if doing 30 seconds is too easy, do a minute, right? Like, we scale in both directions, okay? So we can get closer to that failure, closer to that limit of what our body's able to do. So we got 50 jumping jacks, 25 mountain climbers each leg, 10 burpees, 10 push-ups, 30-second plank. Then we go into just some high knees Okay. For my high knees, I would just say 10 each leg. Okay, I would just say 10 each leg. So high knees, use the hands if you need to make sure you're getting high. 10 for each. Again, it's a nice kind of it acts as a nice active rest. Okay, it's still working stuff. It's not working our upper body, like we're primarily focusing on here today. But it's a very nice active rest of kind of allowing things like your abdominal wall to rest a bit after the planks. Allow your chest and your tris to rest a little bit after the push-ups, right? Yeah, it triples my head size. It makes it freaking huge, doesn't it? It makes it like, it's big head mode, man. It's big head mode with the fursuit head. So, give yourself 10 each leg. Not really, but keep up the intensity. Try and keep up the intensity. That's the main thing we're doing now, is we're keeping up the intensity, we're keeping up the blood flow, but we're not necessarily working exactly the same muscles, just like boom, 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 one after the other. Because we're gonna go back into some more stuff that's gonna be working our whole abdominal system here, right, as part of our upper body. So we're gonna go for some shoulder taps. We're going to go for some side planks, we're going to go for some reverse crunches, and we're going to go for some oblique crunches. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be working a lot of stuff that's going to be like going like upper ab, lower ab, sides over here, right? So like, and the type of stuff where if you do start to hit a lower body percentage, that the frickin' everything will start to really pop down there, to be honest. If you guys help to have down a bit of a lower body percentage. So I'm gonna take the schnoz off again for the shoulder taps. Now how our shoulder tap work is shoulder taps is just planks, but what you do during the plank is you release one hand to tap the shoulder, bring it back, tap the other shoulder. Right? So I think I might go front on here. Is that even sensible? I don't think it is it? Is it? I'm gonna go kind of over here. No, I kind of want to be back here. I need a little bit more. I need that to be further back. I need to work this out for the future. But anyway, when I'm here, down here, release an arm, tap the shoulder, back down, tap the shoulder, back down, tap the shoulder. So it's very much working those same abs you were working out before, but it's no longer like a static exercise. It's something more dynamic. So really with those, doing those kind of things consistently is going to build you up yourself an abdomen. It's going to build up abs. So if you get a low enough body fat percentage, that's going to really pop. My body fat percentage at the moment is not that great. So when it's better, I'll take the shirt off and show you. But right now, that's not popping. But we're getting up to summer, so we'll get that popping again soon. Let's get the big ass hit on again. The furry ninja for sure, man. Furry ninja. Yeah, so basically just like a dynamic version of what we were doing before. Really good. As for the shoulder taps there, just 10 taps. 10 taps each arm. Which would be really good. I feel I'm already destroying my damaged shoulder. Yeah, maybe. It could do, but like honestly though, the real like activation and work should be felt in your core. It should really be felt in your core. If you can be doing push-ups and you can be doing burpees, I think you would be okay. I don't know the situation with your shoulder though, and of course we should always err on the side of caution. But it could be possible. Maybe try one of those on your knees. And if you start to like move on and you're just like, that's not good, then just obviously like, don't do that. Because we should never train into an injury. There's always kind of ways to train around it. or rest, of course. There's always kind of ways to train around it. So if something doesn't feel good, then always like immediately stop. Immediately stop from that kind of that kind of level. Next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about side planks. So again, for these here, I would say 15 seconds each side. If that's too easy, do your frickin' 30. Do 30. And if that's too hard, just take breaks or something as appropriate. So instead of us just being like both arms down like this, we're gonna go on our side with one arm. And we're gonna do this here, and you should really feel this right here. Oof. You can make that a bit harder or dynamic by kind of putting a little bit of action to it and needling the thread. Now when I bring that down, and I'm like needling and pushing this through, there's a lot going on there. So you can kind of scale that up as well by needling the thread if you want to. And so when you're going through like that, how's a good way to show that? So like this, and then I'm going through, whoof. When I get to like here, whoof, you'll start to really feel some activation there. So for that, do that one side, swap that, do that the other. Side planks there. Very good. So we can show side plank again. Just like this. On my side. Just like this. Going for 15 seconds. That's too easy. Go for 30. That's too hard. Take a little break. And get back into it. So again, there's a lot going on with your abs. You've got abductors, lower ab, upper ab, obliques. There's a lot going on there. So, which, have that kind of nice aesthetic to them, which, okay, cool, whatever. But there's a lot of function to them as well. Core stability is really important for anything you want to do up here and anything you want to do down here. So doing those sorts of things would really help support a lot of stuff in your fitness journey, and just like your posture and feeling better in your own body and that sort of thing. So to recap what we got so far, we're saying 50 jumping jacks, we're saying 25 for each leg mountain climbers, 10 burpees, we're saying 10 push-ups, we're saying 30-second planks, we're saying 10 each leg high knees, we're saying 10 each shoulder taps, and we're saying 15-second each side planks, and scale these appropriately. If something's way too easy, make it harder. If something's too hard, make it easy, but make note of what you're doing. So you've got that there to track what you need to do, to track your next short-term target, so you can dream about your next long-term target, right? Because that sort of thing is really important. Whatever you do, whether that's you learning an instrument, whether that's practicing your art, whether that's you learning coding, whether that's you practicing a sport, whether that's you exercising here, having those kind of like long-term, short-term things that you're aiming for, ones that you're aiming for the now, things that you're dreaming about for the future is really important. Could not stress that enough. Next thing we got here is we've got the reverse crunches. So this is going to help us develop our upper abs. Yeah, it's really easy to get your like 4-pack down here. Your remaining 2 up here can be like a little bit of work. So we're looking for the reverse crunches here. Now we probably know our standard crunch quite well, which again is very useful, but we're not putting it as a part of this circuit. I don't think it's necessary as part of this circuit, but we can introduce around things. We obviously know our crunch. We're working our ab here, and up we go. We don't need to go all the way up for a sit-up, because we're working this here. That's the bit that we're isolating. That's the bit that we're working. Now, the reverse crunch is not us bringing our back up, right, and working the ab here. It's bringing our legs up and working the ab from that angle, okay? So for something like this, maybe this a little bit more appropriate. Get myself on my back here. I've got my legs nice and long out, which I can't because of this table here, and I'm lifting my legs up And it's here in this section, right? So from like here to here, right there, I'm under a lot of tension, I'm under a lot of work. That little ass lift, that little butt lift I did at the end, really, really puts you under a bigger tension and a bigger stretch than if I'm just bringing my legs to here. That remaining little butt lift at the end, whew, that adds in a lot of extension there, a real stretch to the abdominal wall. And the more time under tension that you have, the more time under tension that you have, the better. The better, the better, the better. So what I was doing there is I was kind of bringing it up, butt in the air, hold it for a second, control it back down. So more time under tension. So there, big tension for a little break. I've got this table here which is annoying. I ideally want to be stretched out more. Maybe I can if I go here. Yep. Oof. Hold it for a second. Hold it for a second. I don't need to go all the way down because the action is happening in that part. Boop. 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 That's the bit that's taking my abdominal wall from like, you know, no work, highest extension. No work, highest extension. And that's the bit I want to be working for. That's the bit I want to be working on. So for the reverse crunches there, I would go for 10 reps of those. Really, 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 really good exercise that works out a part of your abdominal wall that probably doesn't get touched on a lot. Another exercise we do in that would be like, you know, like a leg hang, hanging for a pull-up bar, raising your legs, whatever. These types of exercises you probably don't do a lot. Skibbity. You're doing exercise by accident, let's freaking go. But then if you're doing this kind of stuff by accident, you can get like a bit more focus on it. You can be like, oh, and then really drive it home. And make some really cool progression. We're finishing off here with the oblique crunches. So that's gonna be the sides here as a part of our abdominal wall. So we're gonna be getting into like kind of regular crunch position. And we'll go like 10 each side. So I'm down here and I'm doing like with a twist. Hoof, 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 hoof. Now it may not look like I'm going very far, but you don't need to. Because the bit I'm focusing on my abdominal wall there, and specifically my obliques, going from an area of, you know, relaxed to highest extension. And that happens over like a really subtle kind of a small and specific and subtle range of motion. You know, so I don't need to be like starting all the way back here and going all the way over here. Yeah? I mean, it's great, but I can be doing that over a more subtle range. So that twist to the leg, back down, twist to the other leg. And I would go, again, 10 each side. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Let me get a drink of water. Oh, real quick. Whoo! Very good. So. The idea is all of those things one after the other. 50 jumping jacks, 25 each leg mountain climbers. We're looking for 10 burpees, 10 push-ups, 30-second plank. We're doing high knees, 10 each leg. We're doing shoulder taps, 10 each shoulder. We're doing side planks, 15-second each side. Reverse crunches, 10 reps. We're doing oblique crunches, 10 each side. Something like that. is really, really gonna give you a nice, strong, functional upper body strength. You're gonna feel better in your day-to-day life. If you lock in your nutrition as well, you're probably gonna aesthetically look pretty nice as well on top of that. And the idea would be to do that all as one circuit. Give yourself a 90-second, 2-minute break. Repeat the circuit. We're looking for 5 repetitions of the entire circuit. So by the end of it, you've done like 50 burpees. By the end of it, you've done, 50 high knees, 50 shoulder taps, like that sort of thing. Stacks, it stacks, it stacks. Right? Now, of course, the first time you initially do that, you probably, it depends on your level of fitness, depends where you are in your journey, whatever. You might only get through that entire circuit one time. Yeah, you might have got through that entire circuit one time and you did the push-ups on your knees or whatever. As I said, that's great. If that's all that you've got, if that's your maximum available output, then freaking wonderful. Absolutely freaking wonderful. If that's you doing your best is wonderful, but keep track of your best. Keep track of it. Whether you're using like an Excel spreadsheet, whether you've got a little notebook you're writing in, something like that. I like Excel spreadsheets because you can make charts and stuff like that, really sort of gamify it, and like have your XP progression system and stuff like that. I like that sort of thing. But again, just like pen and paper and like scribbling things down, cool, whatever, it's all freaking good. And something like this, you can do this anywhere you want. Anywhere you want, no equipment required. Sure, you can make things more comfortable with the Pilates mat. You can be a bit kinder on your wrists with something like that. But you can do that whenever and wherever you want. And it's all totally scalable. Ferret, hello. And that's the important thing. That's the important thing, because there is not a perfect amount of reps. There is not a perfect amount that you should be doing. Okay? That does not exist. Okay? Everything is adjustable. We are differentiating by outcome. Right? We're differentiating by outcome and kind of scaling to what's appropriate. Yeah, that might be a good idea, Val. That might be a good idea. So I would personally, if you're interested, as I said, just improving your fitness a little bit, whether that is for just feeling better in your own body, longevity of your own body, and this won't help. This won't hurt aesthetically either. I think this is a really, really, really solid, good starting point. The idea of this, as I said, is 2 times a week. 2 times a week. So if you do this on Monday, do it again on Thursday, right? Or whatever kind of spacing for whatever pacing you've done the week, and track the progress, okay? We've got the idealized situation. We've got what we're looking for, how many reps for each of these, and a circuit done 5 times. If you can only do that 1 time, you can only do that 2 times, that is fine, that is great, that is your maximum output, that is great, yeah? We're not trying to hurt ourselves here. We're never trying to hurt ourselves. If something's hurting, seek advice, okay? If something is hurting when you're doing it, seek advice, because either you've got some sort of imbalance, or there's something that needs looking at in your body, or you're doing something incorrect with the exercise, right? And so there can be tweaks and adjustments there, so that's not happening because you've got other body parts overcompensating, whatever. Or you can be going way beyond your limits. And we don't want to be going beyond our limits, okay? We want to be going, as I said, close to our limits. Close to our limits. You don't even have to hit your limits. If you're 3, 4, 5 reps in reserve, you're 3, 4, 5 more you can do, and you stop before then, you're still going to be getting huge benefits. Huge benefits to it. Huge benefits. So I'd recommend trying this if you're interested. We got this video here that can live in prosperity. Posterity. It's posterity, right? Dude, I don't know freaking words. Anyway, we've got this stream that exists here so you can kind of look back on it. Of course, if you got kind of questions or stuff like that, you can ask me, yeah, and I will help out and give any sort of advice that I possibly can. The idea, as I said, that we're going to build up over future of these kind of streams is first we're going to focus on fundamentals like this. So we did like kind of like an upper body fundamental here. We'll focus on a lower body one. We'll do a lower body one as well, and we'll also give some ideas for an active rest day. And then those like 3 active rest / sort of cardio day. And then the idea is we can loop those things together. We can loop those things together into a regular routine before possibly in the future looking at stuff to do with like nutrition and stuff like that as well. But this right here, I think really gives like a nice scalable, completely beginner friendly, but like with infinite range in how far it can go. Like everything you do here, you could be somebody who's like extremely fit, extremely active, and just actually remain and stay with a workout that's constructed like this and just continually scale it up. You get to those push-ups in the future, you start doing with like weight on your back, or something like that, or you just add in more reps, or you're adding more intensity, or whatever. So really, really, really good working, strong starting point. I hope that was kind of fun. I hope that was kind of informative from some perspective. If anybody uses anything that we've talked about today, please get in touch with me. Because as much as I like enjoy like all the goofy sort of fun that we have here and all that sort of stuff, I would really like to really like to offer kind of value in other ways as well. To kind of help people out in the same way that I get advice and information and insights from you guys. I would love to do more things on these streams or on the videos or whatever that can add value and kind of enrich people's lives outside of just like, oh, that was like fun socializing and stuff like that. I take a lot of like pride and whatever in kind of stuff like that. So if you do try out anything from today, please let me know. Or anything that we can help in kind of like the format or whatever in the future. But as I said, today was really just kind of to be like sort of like demonstrative and give a kind of starting point, like kind of like chucking the ball out there, like this is how you use the ball, so people could kind of have a little go with it. We'll probably build into the future some videos which we can maybe I'll put like a timer on or something, and we can exercise along with it, and then either people can exercise along with the stream or use that as something that they watch in the future and play along with or whatever. So I'd like to kind of build up to those things, but obviously I want this to be just like a completely like beginner friendly, equipment friendly, all you need is you and some space and you can just do any of this. I want to kind of start with those points and build from there. And then we've got this VOD as well, so I can refer to in the future. Just like, oh yeah, like want to know like a good basis for like a body weight exercise. Boom, go here. But I very much enjoyed kind of the sound of my own voice and explaining things there. So at the very least, I kind of took some joy from that. I'm gonna jump over into this room. I'm gonna switch the camera up real sec for a minute, and we're gonna open up some Pokemon packs. So bear with me a moment, okay? Yippee! I am back. Just transitioned the room. Hey man, sorry to be annoying, but like, genuine question, how did you become a furry? I mean, I'm just a fan of kind of like a lot of these sort of things that furries like. So I like myself, you know, some Pokemon, Sonic the Hedgehog, Disney movies, you know? It's kind of just, for me, it's an extension of that sort of stuff. Speaking of that, I don't think I've seen anyone talk about, there's this comic book called Animal Pound by Tom King. There's this comic book called Animal Pound by Tom King. It's really good. I might talk a little bit more about this in the future. But it just got nominated for like so many Eisner Awards, which is basically like the Oscars of like comic books. And I was really happy to see that. Because I've been really enjoying it. Animal Pound. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the future. Now, where did I put my frickin' Pokemon? My happiness is contagious. I'm glad. I'm happy, man. I'm glad you said that as well, Pepe, because honestly, like today, there was like, I woke up kind of like really usual, sort of like do, happy boy. I really hit a dip in the day, like a bit after lunch, and I'm not sure why, but I got like very sort of like existential. I got very sort of like, I don't know, I just felt like a strong melancholy. I'm gonna kind of like dig into that a little bit later today and try and identify like what I was feeling and maybe why I was feeling that way. But I took a little bit of a dip in the middle of the day, and I wasn't exactly feeling myself. So that positive comment I really appreciate, because I was having a weird, unexplained, or at least it's unexplained right now, point of just like what's going on in my head, what's going on in my mind, and all that sort of thing, which I do very much want to, as I said, I want to try and reflect on that a little bit later and try and work out what's going on in my head, but there we go. Upload random, I just kind of talked through some of my advice there for the upper body workout, and now we're opening some Pokemon packs. Oh, we got the freaky Wigglytuff! Dude, the artwork there is crazy. Look at it. It kind of looks like me, no? Kind of looks like me. Do I like... Is it like... Yeah. Oh my days. Oh my days. Okay. Bidoof. Vault Orb. See the resemblance of the eyes. They're first shiny of the day. The Paldean Wooper and the Spirit. Okay. No new cards, not. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking the eyes. I was really thinking the eyes there. The eyes were what I was saying. Making a connection with, you know? Making a connection, yeah. I think we got 3 packs we can open today. Yeah, we do. We got 3 packs we can open today. Let's see what we get here. Whoop. The Vault Orb again! The Orb of Voltage. We got the Rattata, the Tinkatoof, the Licky. Hey yo! New card, let's frickin' go! We got the Alakazam. Let's frickin' go. Woot. Let's go. Alright. What do we got here? Those special eyes! Okay. Yay! Yippee! 60 out of 72. This is coming on nicely. It's coming on very, very nicely. The Shining Reveille. Just cut here. The Vault Orb again. Is this Vault Orb day? We can do the side-by-sides. Yeah, we can do the side-by-side for sure. We've got the Ecans, the Pokemon Center Levy, the Mr. Mime. Come on, new card. Poop. Poop. Yeah, we can do the side by side again. We'll see if there's anything worthwhile in the bundle picks. Okay, we got the Alakazam today. I'm quite happy about that. No. Yes! Okay, it's probably gonna be that one, but I'm just gonna double check if there's another. Ooh, no, this is the one to go for. Yeah, because that's got 2 shinies in it, so we've got a better chance of. Yeah, that's the move. That's the move. This pack here, because we're gonna get either. Well, no, it's not. We're gonna. It's just there's an EX in there and a full art. So it's like a higher percentage of some magic happening. Now, do I go for old reliable number 3? Do I go for old reliable number 3, or is somebody particularly passionate about us changing up the number today, or is old reliable number 3 the move? Yeah, I think old reliable number 3. Let's do it. Ah! Womp 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 womp. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, it's still a new card, so it's still something. You know? I quite like that card. Okay, let's no, it wasn't in Celestial Guardians, it was in Shining Revelry. It was the there's some thanks over there. It was in Shining Revelry. Wait, how much do I have? Because if we can go stupid, go crazy, can we do that? No, we can't go stupid, go crazy. Okay, so. Ooh. Hey, come on, do the trick. Alright, so. Yeah, Fireball literally did. Fireball was the one who knew. Knew more than we did. Okay, let's get these. Okay, we should be able to do 3 packs again tomorrow. That's cool. Alright, wait, what are you yammering on about here? Oh. Very exciting. Yeah, the motorcycle-looking Pokemon, Cyclizar. Yeah, there's no next one today. Womp womp womp. There's no next one today, unfortunately. Oh, when did all this happen? I mean, I'll take them. More decks. Yeah, Cyclizar is the I can show him. What am I getting more special? Ah! Oh, there might be more. No, Ferret, there might be more today. And we'll do 4 if it's possible. It might be possible. And then we can show the comparison again, and we can show the motorcycle Pokemon too. Okay, I think we might be able to. Maybe. Can we do it? Yeah, let's go. Let's do number 4. Oh, come on. Ah! And this time it was 3! Oh, there we go. You know, stuff happens. Okay. Alright. Ooh, we still got a Growlithe though. I like Growlithe. I like a doggy Pokemon. Doggy. Thank you, Grass. Thank you, user Grass. It's funny. Okay. Let's look at this. So we can look at our little motorbike. Should be in the normal type group, I think. Or did I get him in the other set? Oh well, I got one here. There's the little motorbike guy. Yeah, good old Lucky 3. Yeah, this guy's kind of funny. This guy's kind of funny. He's like a natural creature that looks like a motorbike. Kind of crazy. We also have the car, like the car engine Pokemon. Revolu. It wasn't a Doris. Yeah, it was very Squirrel. But yeah, we got this little. That kind of thing. Can't watch that. Dude, it's funny. It's hard for me to say. So I don't know at what point I've really got it. Yeah, the visibility in a fursuit is like the worst. Like trying to see in a fursuit is incredibly difficult. But how's everybody doing? I was saying, like, today, I don't know, I felt like a weird kind of, like, sort of wave come on me. And I don't really know. I feel good. It feels like there's a little bit of an aura around. It's a little bit strange there, and you kind of figure out. The first pink reveal tell the difference, that's where you can go. I found the plan, if you play between your thumbs and blow it, it makes a noise. Oh, really? That's fun. What kind of noise? Like, or like... I do enjoy the canal talk. I need to get myself on the canal soon. There was talk. There was discussion today. Somebody did propose to me that we go to Amsterdam in October. They were like, "You want to go to this thing in Amsterdam in October?" And I was like, "Maybe." I was like, "Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Could be fun. You know? Could be fun to do a little Amsterdam trip. I don't know. Haven't been there in a while. Advantages of living in mainland Europe, it's quite easy to sort of get around, you know, and all that sort of thing. Can we rate air buns today? Sure. What's air buns about, Farrah? What's air buns about? Could be cool. Also, you woke up in a rough mood. I'm very glad I could help with that. Thank you for that. The positive feedback, I very much appreciate. I appreciate that a lot. So thank you so much. As I said, I felt a little bit like weird and existential today, just for like a moment. But it did kind of like affect me in a way. You're about to say something about, yeah, I just kind of clicked on it. I was like, oh, let's bring this up. I think I'm going to put this on the screen a few more times in the future just to see if we can bank up a few more questions. Dude, I had a couple of things in my head for ideas for like future streams and stuff like that, but I got them written down. We can kind of talk about those in the future. Yeah, it was less I stopped that. It was just like it just didn't happen. Like it wasn't like, oh, let's not do that anymore. It's just I feel there's been like a lot of like different moving parts on the streams lately, at least for my head. but I do like it is something I enjoy. I'm not gonna lie. So if we get more of those in, I'd be interested in doing them. Hydration, yeah, hydration's a very good idea. Thank you. I'm gonna get the bottle of water. Hydration's a very good idea. Ah! Oh dear. Hydration's a very good idea. Oh dear, hydration. A little bit of hydration.